Do you want to get clean, renewable energy for free? Cut down on your monthly power bill. Try making your own solar panels. These cost a fraction of commercial panels and work great. Get started with step 1 below to make your own. Purchase the cells. There are a few different types of solar cells to buy, but the best cost to efficiency option will be polycrystalline cells. Buy however many you need for how much energy/wattage you're looking to produce. The specs should be listed when you purchase the cells. Make sure to buy extras. These cells are extremely fragile. Cells will be most easily bought online, but you may be able to purchase some from your local hardware store. It may be necessary to clean wax off of the cells if their manufacturer ships them in wax. To do this, dip them in hot, but not boiling water. Measure and cut a board. You will need a thin board made out of a non-conductive material to attach the cells to. Lay out the cells in the arrangement you will use, then measure the dimensions and cut a board to that size. Leave an extra inch or two at both ends of the board. This space will be used for the wires that connect the rows together. Measure and cut all of your tabbing wire. When you look at your polycrystalline cells, you will see a large number of small lines going in one direction the long distance, and two larger lines going in the other direction the short distance. You will need to connect tabbing wire to run down the two larger lines and connect to the back of the next cell in the array. Measure the length of that larger line, double the length, and then cut 2 pieces for each cell. Use the flux pen on each of the 3 squares or strip of each line, usually 2 or 3 lines, on the back of the cell. Melt a thin coat of solder on the squares/strips of the back of cells. Note: this step is not necessary if you purchase pre-soldered tabbing, which is better since it cuts time in half, heats up the cells only once and wastes less solder. Heat the first half of the tabbing wire on top of the soldered squares/strip to bond it to the cell. Repeat for other strips. Glue the cells to the board. Put a small amount of glue at the back center of the cells and then press them into place on the board. The tabbing wire should run in a single, straight line for each row. Make sure the ends of the tabbing wire are coming up between the cells and are free to move, with just the 2 pieces sticking up between each cell. Keep in mind that one row will have to run in the direction opposite to the one next to it, so that the tabbing wire sticks out at the end of one row and on the opposite side of the next. You should plan to put the cells in long rows, with a fewer number of rows. For example, 3 rows each consisting of 12 cells placed long side to long side. Remember to leave an extra inch at both ends of the board. Solder the cells together. Apply flux to the length of the 2 thick lines contact pads on each cell, then take the 3 sections of tabbing wire and solder them to the entire length of the pads. Note: the tabbing wire connected to the back of one cell should connect to the front of the next cell in every case. Connect the first row using bus wire. At the beginning of the first row, solder tabbing wire to the front of the first cell. The tabbing wire should be about an inch longer than needed to cover the lines, and extend towards the extra gap on the board. Now, solder those 2 wires together with a piece of bus wire, the same size as the distance between the thick lines of the cell. Connect the second row. Connect the end of the first row to the beginning of the second with a long piece of bus wire which extends between the 2 far thick wires, the one at the edge of the panel and the second being the furthest away in the next row. You will need to prepare the first cell of the second row with extra tabbing wire, as you did with the F.